Jerusalem now, we will see a lot of challenges in the next years. But if you are trying to understand what are the roots of the problems and the challenges of Jerusalem that can bring to you the possibility that different kind of the citizens in Israel can live together in Jerusalem, you will see that there is only one root for all of the problems of Jerusalem, the demographic structure of the city. The state of Israel today doesn't have any kind of solution to this kind of demographic structure. The percentage of the ultra-Orthodox population in the Judaic sector, the issue of the big percentage of Arabic population, and so on and so on. But what is interesting, the future of the state of Israel will be almost the same like Jerusalem today. If you are trying to see on Jerusalem today, you can see a kind of DNA of the future of the state of Israel. Then in our trying to find the model of managing of the city, of creating of the atmosphere as a different group of population can work together in the city, can live in the city, we will, I'm sure that we will succeed to find the future models for the management of the state of Israel itself. In the last years, at least, the demographic growth of the population, of Jewish population in Jerusalem, is more than Arabic. The problem is immigration from Jerusalem of the young Jewish families, by the way, from all of the groups, the secular population, the religious Zionist population, and the Haredi population. And there is only one reason for this. The prices of the housing in Jerusalem. Then if you are interested to keep the Jewish majority in Jerusalem, the solution is not dividing the city. The solution is promotion of the more and more building in this city for Jewish population in many directions, of course including the big areas outside of the 67 lines.
So-called controversial.
For me, it's not controversial. The part of the Jerusalem is the part of the Israeli sovereignty territory, and we need to build much more in Jerusalem. If we are interested, they will succeed to keep the Jewish population here and the Jewish majority here. The situation now is very strange. For many years, the demographic growth of Arabic population was more than the Jewish, but the immigration in Jerusalem of Jewish population was the solution for this challenge. Now we are in opposite situation. The demographic growth of Jewish population is much more, but we cannot succeed till now to create the positive immigration in Jerusalem of Jewish population, or even to keep the young families who grew up in Jerusalem here in Jerusalem. And of course, from my point of view, it will be probably the first task of the next mayor of Jerusalem, and it's a kind of the strategic challenge for Jerusalem for the next years.
So is there or isn't there a green light from the USA regarding construction and development of Jerusalem? Because it's still, we hear many complaints that it's not really happening yet. What really is behind the scenes?
Of course, the situation now is much better than it was only 2 years ago, or 5 or 6 years ago. For many years, I was the leader of the caucus in the Knesset for supporting of Jerusalem, and I remember many struggles and battles that we had in the Knesset in trying to promote the building in Jerusalem at the time of the previous presidency. Now situation is much better, but still I can feel, as a minister of Jerusalem, many times as a person who are near the prime minister in the very delicate situation, that still there are some areas and there are some programs that still there is a kind of the pressure of Israeli leadership. For example, the very important new areas that we need to build, like Givat HaMatos.
So pressure coming from America
still much less than in the previous years. And now the challenge is, of course, they use this new situation for promoting more and more plans in Jerusalem. The problem is not the kind of the international problems, but you need much more plans to realize them in the real life.
Regarding the U.S.-Israel relations, do you feel that maybe we're in a stage of euphoria, and when it comes to action, things might look differently? We're talking about the ultimate deal, of course. Is there a fear, or do you think that we're on the good lane to really amazing connection, amazing alliance.
First of all, it's not secret that we have wonderful relations in recent administration in many, many fields and in many directions. But still, when we are speaking about Jerusalem, from one hand, of course, the decision of the moving of the embassy to Jerusalem was very, very important, and we will see the results of this move in the future, not only now. But still, the promotion of the more and more building in Jerusalem, including in so-called sensitive places like Givat HaMatos, like it's outside of Jerusalem, but very, very important for the future of Jerusalem in the area of E1 and in other places, it's very, very important. Everyone who is looking for Jewish united Jerusalem needs to understand that we need to build much more than we did it in the past 10 years.
As a cabinet minister, let's talk a bit about your role as a cabinet minister. What can you tell us about the situation in the north? Every time something happens, they say, no, it's just, it's fire regarding Syria, it's not about us. There were rockets in the Kinneret. What's going to be? What could be done by Israel at this point?
The issue is not the one or two rockets in the Kinneret is a part of the internal battles in the Syria near our borders. The issue is, of course, Iranian policy that they are trying to build in Syria something like Lebanon, probably more a kind of the future challenge for the state of Israel. And our policy is very, very simple. From our point of view, it is the red line. And we, in last 2-3 years at least, we proved many times that when Israel is speaking about something that is that red line, we can, in action, can show to Iran and to Syria leadership that's really red line, and we did, and we will continue to do everything that depends on us, try to prevent Syria to become the part of Iranian army Platzdam against us.
Last question, as a cabinet minister, we've been following the protests, the activities of the Golden Show families. Of course, the soldiers who were killed, their bodies were kidnapped by the Hamas. What is your message to them at this point? What can be done and what is being done? Is anything being done? We know there are many demands from the government, from the families, from their followers, supporters.
First of all, I think all of us can salute the families that probably the first time in the last years in Israeli history that the message of the families is, of course, we are interested in the families to see the bodies of our sons to return here to Israel, but the way to do it is not to release terrorists, but the way to do it, much more press on Hamas in other. I think this is a real solution. It's very, very important moral position of the families, and I'm very supportive of them in this. Till now, unfortunately, we didn't succeed to receive the result, but for the future of the State of Israel, I believe that the solution of this kind of situation is not the releasing of thousands of terrorists. The solution is much more intensive pressure on Hamas.
Minister of Jerusalem, Knesset member Zeev Elkin, thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming to Jerusalem. Thank to Arutz Sheva, that is one of the most important Israeli media, that they are supportive real national position and real national interest of this state. And of course, for me, the situation that all of us, we are sitting here in Jerusalem, we can see the old city from the windows of this hotel, and we kind to feel the history every moment that we are here. Not only to feel the history, every place that you are going here in the city, you can feel the responsibility of every one of us for the future of the city. Even my recent position as a minister of Jerusalem, it's very interesting. Some months ago, we find it in small, near the Kotel, by the way, a small seal that was written on this seal, the minister of the city. The seal is 2,700 years ago. I told to the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu when we together opened a special archaeological exhibition in New York in the building of United Nations, if you thought that the idea to appoint the minister of Jerusalem is your new idea, one of the kings of Judea appointed the minister of Jerusalem 2,700 years ago. You can't understand what kind of the feeling of responsibility you have, that you understanding that you are in position that was established in this city 2,700 years ago.
That's very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.